With Republicans eagerly wanting to reopen the state's economies and the country's economy, despite experts warning that, of course, it's too soon, one Trump advisor has decided he wanted to think out of the box. So now this is conservative economist Stephen Moore, and he was interviewed by the New York Times, and it quickly goes off the rails here. And he says that he's been advising the president to call for an end to the statewide lockdowns, arguing that the economic recovery could come by the end of the summer. I think that's already we've had too much damage to the economies in the state because of this lockdown, and I think if you lift it further, or I'm sorry, if you lift it too early, you're going to end up having further damage to the economy because dead people don't buy things. People who are sick, people who have gigantic medical bills from getting sick from COVID-19 and spending time in the hospital, getting charged $75,000 for a visit. Well, I mean, they're not going to exactly be in a position to spend money either. So you're going to have huge economic issues no matter what, right? But nonetheless, Moore says this: for the good of the country, we really have to get things opened. I said, Mr. President, if you can get the economy open by May 1st, and right from that date, and by the way, that of course means that some states will open and others won't, that you could possibly see this recovery by the end of the summer. And we can really get through this. Very, very optimistic. The Times also noted that Moore understands that some states are more prepared than others to ease their social distancing restrictions, but he is confident that distancing won't be necessary to halt the spread of the coronavirus. Well, now, wait a minute. Social distancing, washing your hands. Look, if we don't have a treatment for coronavirus or a vaccine, then we really can't not do the social distancing. However, Moore says, no, we've got other plans to do this. In fact, he said we can use really good public safety measures. Social distancing the workforce. Notice how he yells like, we don't need social distancing, but we need to social distance the workforce. Doesn't make any sense. Disinfectants everywhere and masks. Now the question, of course, is who's going to pay for it? Who's going to pay for that? They never answer that. And look, here's the thing. You want to social distance the workforce. Well, that's not really possible in some jobs, in certain jobs. Hair salons, for example, tattoo parlors, right? Massage parlors, restaurants. Really difficult to do that. All right? Really difficult to social distance in those jobs. And so maybe with that in mind, he decides to drop this very interesting idea. Quote, I was just thinking this morning, and this is just kind of a thought experiment because I was thinking about this. He put a lot of thought into this, apparently. Why don't we just put everyone in a space outfit or something like that? No, seriously. He has to go back and say, no, I'm serious about this. Spacesuits, guys. Spacesuits. The best people. Now, he also admits, laughing, I know we don't have space outfits. I mean, just thinking out loud, and maybe this is a crazy idea, really? But instead of just locking down the economy, putting everyone in a kind of, you're right, you have to make 200 million of these, but it wouldn't have cost $3 trillion to do that. And you can have for months people just walking around in these kind of, I was looking online and there's all these kind of suits that they're building now that you're not exposed and your breath kind of ventilator, and then he just kind of trails off. Like already, that was an insane paragraph. All direct quotes from New York Times. Trails off. Kind of ventilator and things. And I was looking online. Were you looking at Wish? Because, if you're going to order from Wish, be prepared to be disappointed. I'm just saying. What? Again, I'm sure at some point when he started trailing off, that he realized that he was saying something completely stupid. He had to have. But look, okay, dummy. Everybody's walking around with spacesuits now, right? Because somehow we pulled that money out of thin air and manufactured 200 spacesuits by May 1st, or 200 million spacesuits by May 1st, which is impossible. But okay, you got a spacesuit on. You want to get a haircut. Oops, how are you going to get a haircut with a spacesuit on, dummy? How's that going to happen? How are you going to eat in at a restaurant if you're wearing a freaking spacesuit? Oh, you're going to open the front? Well, then you just defeated the entire purpose of the freaking spacesuit. What is wrong with you? How stupid are you? And that's just a practical issue. How are you going to get all the suits? What do you need? When you ask the Space Force? Oh, it's Space Force. We're going to borrow 200 million suits. Well, we don't have 200 million suits. Well, yeah, better get cracking. Really? We can't even ensure that every nurse and doctor in a hospital has an N95 mask, which is a hell of a lot cheaper, by the way, than a spacesuit. But somehow, we are going to somehow design in America and pull, 200 million, that's his numbers, not mine, spacesuits. We're going to pull those out of our ass in time for May 1st to reopen the economy. Are you kidding me? How is this man in government? How does this man tie his shoes in the morning? Man, I was just having this crazy thought, and it's really crazy, right? Spacesuits. Look, I realize 420 was 3 days ago. Maybe that's. Let me tell you, man. Spacesuits. What? How? This man is an economic advisor to Donald Trump. What a deeply unintelligent man. Deeply unintelligent. Here's what we should do. We should socially distance for a couple of months and aggressively increase testing while sending every American $2,000 a month for the next 3 or 4 months. That's it. That's what you do. That would actually be cheaper in the long run than this crazy idea, than your stupid spacesuits. But here's the thing. The reason they so badly want to reopen the economy is, yes, because they're losing money, right? They're losing money because, guess what? People like this guy, Stephen Moore, are, generally the wealthy class, right? They're the business class. Top 10%, even top 1%. That top 1% relies on the labor of the 99% in order to generate profit. Because guess what? Without us, they're literally nothing. They don't make money. We make their money for them. And then we get screwed over, right? So that's what happens. And so they're so desperate to get us back to work. They don't want us to, sit and draw unemployment for a couple of months. That's a scary situation for them. They hate that. They're like, ooh, we're just going to give them free money? Oh, no, I hate it. No, get back to work. I know, spacesuits. So now you can get back to work. We create the wealth. We are the heart of America, the workers. They sit there and they siphon it off for themselves. That's how the economy really works. And people like this are afraid that the rest of us are going to catch on. Like, oh, hey, wait a minute. Turns out our labor is actually worth a lot more than they say it was. Maybe we should do something about that. Hey guys, hopefully you enjoyed that free video. Now I'm going to have to ask you a favor. Between the demonetization and the YouTube algorithm messing around with view counts, etc., we're having a hard time adjusting to the new YouTube reality, which is where you guys come in. See, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/TYTNation, set up to help us rely on you guys, the viewers, instead of big corporate ads. Look, you know the show. You know I'm not in favor of big corporations anyway. So help us transition away from relying on the ad model to pay the bills and sign up to be a patron, patreon.com/TYTNation. That goes a long way to help us keep the lights on. And you guys will know that you're supporting independent progressive media.